The Conjuring Last Rites is the ninth and final film in the Conjuring series, based on the real-life Smurl family haunting. The film takes place in 1986, following Ed and Lorraine Warren, now retired due to Ed's health, are drawn back into the game when a cursed mirror resurfaces, and their daughter Judy, now grown up, is navigating her own psychic abilities. However, she becomes entwined in the terrifying events developing in Pennsylvania. Going into this movie, I have not really been all that excited for it, mostly because I'm not the biggest fan of Michael Chavez as a director. He directed The Curse of La Llorona, Conjuring 3, The Nun 2, and now he is back to direct The Conjuring 4, and this is supposed to be like the send-off for Ed and Lorraine Warren, so I have not been all that excited, plus none of the trailers have really gotten me to be on board with this movie. It seemed like we were going to be getting the same generic thing that we got in The Nun 2 and The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and I can't say that I was disappointed in this movie because it was pretty much what I expected this movie to be. Now, I'm not going to give Michael Chavez a hard time because I do think that he is developing as a director. When he first started with The Curse of La Llorona, that movie is just insufferable, unwatchable. There is no sense of direction with that movie. With The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and The Nun 2, while those weren't the hot pieces of garbage I thought they were going to be, they're still not great, and you can kind of see that he is starting to develop a little bit as a director and trying to find his own footing while also not trying to do what James Wan did with the first two Conjuring films. With The Conjuring Last Rites, it's still pretty much the same issues that I have with the other two movies. While every single film in this Conjuring universe, from the great to the awful, they all have beautiful cinematography and they are beautiful to look at. The cinematography for each of these movies are wonderful, and that is something that makes these movies at least watchable, aside from Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga being the best parts about the three, now four Conjuring films. Every single time that they are on screen, they step up their games and they have such wonderful chemistry. With this movie focusing on their family a little bit more than the Smurl family, because this movie has two different movies going on at the same time. Movie A is the Smurl family in Pennsylvania and everything that they are dealing with, a lot of their paranormal activity going on over there. Movie B is the Warrens and their daughter having her psychic abilities start to develop a little bit more since she's starting to get a little bit older. So she's kind of following in her mom's footsteps. And I was more interested in movie B and kind of wish that was the main focus of this movie, because when we go back to the Smurl family, you don't get to know them all too much. They are introduced a little bit, but you don't really care about them because what you got going on with them, their daughter has finished her communion, and so they give her a mirror of all things as a present for her. She doesn't seem to be all that fond with it, and then a lot of the supernatural elements start to happen with them. And I thought there were some elements in there that I thought were okay, but they didn't really have the long standing impact that I kind of wished it had. And really, they don't get a lot of the focus. While we do cut back to them every once in a while, there really isn't all that much there for me to really latch on to them and get to the point where I'm actually caring about them and everything that's going around them, because you really don't know anything about them. They hardly get any screen time. With The Conjuring 1 and 2, they got you to care about those characters, and the Warrens felt a little bit more involved in those films. And I get why they're not really involved in this case particularly, because they are retired. They are just going to colleges and speaking to college students that really aren't all that interested. Some are, some aren't. So they're basically going on a tour, talking to college students, talking about their paranormal experiences and kind of the gravity of that situation. And then every once in a while, we will cut back to the Smurl family and see how they're dealing with everything that's going on. Where movie B is the Warren's daughters getting her psychic abilities and her boyfriend trying to get their parents' approval, because even though Lorraine is okay with him, Ed is being the tough dad and really protective dad because of the situation that happened when she was younger. And so I kind of was a little bit more intrigued with movie B than I was with movie A, and movie A felt a little bit more like an afterthought. With the scares, it's pretty much exactly what you got with The Nun 2 and The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. It's just a lot of moments of long sullen silences followed by a loud bang, and that's just pretty much the gist of the scares. There are moments of tension in here that I thought were fine, and some of the visuals I thought were okay, especially with the main demon that is haunting the Smurl family. There are moments like that that I thought were fine and shows that Michael Chavez has grown as a director when it comes to filling that tension void and have some wonderful scares and try to craft a lot of these moments up. My issue with it is the fact that none of it has the impact that the first two Conjuring films have. And I'm trying not to compare his directing style to James Wan's directing styles because they are two completely different directors. They both have different directing styles. So I'm not trying to compare them all too much. But it is very noticeable, especially with the strong promise that the first Conjuring had. That movie had so much tension. You cared about the characters. A lot of the jump scares were warranted. With the past two Conjuring films, that void has not been filled at all. And a lot of that has to do with Michael Chavez as a director not really knowing how to craft these jump scares, not only just feel effective, but also have the longing impact. You want to be able to have that one core memory that you will jump out to you as one of the best scares in the entire film. None of that is in here, and I'm kind of missing a little bit of that in these Conjuring universe films that really haven't done it for me since probably Annabelle Creation or The Conjuring 2. I can't say that this movie disappointed me because it's pretty much exactly what I figured it would be. There are some creative shots in here that I thought Michael Chavez was able to do. There are more positives that I enjoyed about this movie that didn't make it really a complete dumpster fire. It's one that I kind of wish we learned from our past mistakes and added a little bit more flair, added a little bit more spice so that a lot of the impact that we have is a little bit more memorable and has a lot of great things. It does give Ed and Lorraine Warren a proper send off. If you are a fan of the Conjuring universe, especially the three Conjuring films, and you've really been attached to these characters and not going into these movies trying to pick out what's wrong with these movies and have fun with them, you will have that satisfying end, because it does have a satisfying end to Ed and Lorraine Warren that if you are fans of them, you might be a little bit choked up at the end of the film. But overall, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. Nothing new. Everything that we've seen done before. Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson are still the standouts of this Conjuring film and really all four films. I just wish there was a little bit more flair to it. I kind of wish there was something that would give me a long standing impact. Some of the CGI in here doesn't work. It feels like it was the first draft and nobody gave a revisions to it. But overall, if you are a fan of this series and you've enjoyed every single film in the Conjuring universe, this is going to be for you. For me, I wanted a little bit more, but it's kind of where I thought it was going to be. But those are my thoughts on The Conjuring Last Rites. Let me know down in the comments if this is a movie that you enjoyed or if it's one that really disappointed you. Drop those thoughts in the comments below. We'll catch you guys for the next video.